PlayStation gamers aren't exactly starving for quality PSN exclusives, but that doesn't mean there isn't room for more. When Polish demo scene studio Plastic revealed Datura, excitement was high among the PlayStation audience, and for good reason. The game looks beautiful and has an air of mystery to it, but the final product doesn't quite live up to pre-release expectations for it, and while Datura certainly is a gorgeous and intriguing adventure game, its subpar gameplay mires it down significantly. If you're looking for a strange yet satisfying story, look no further than Datura. As the game begins, you'll find your character in the back of an ambulance. After pulling off some monitoring devices from your body, you pass out and are thrust into a remote section of forest where most of the game takes place. If the word Datura sounds familiar to you, it's likely because you've heard of the white flower with that name. The thing about the Datura flower, which you'll see smattered all over the woods, is that it can be used as a hallucinogenic drug, and the appearance of the flower everywhere insinuates that you are, in essence, tripping out. Whether that's a red herring or the exact nature of the game is, of course, up to your interpretation, but it kinda hits you over the head like a ton of bricks. Datura is an undeniably beautiful game, toting a unique art style that you'll notice and appreciate as soon as you enter the woods. Character models you encounter don't look quite as good, and the hand that represents the player doesn't always look great either. Still, when coupled with the game's ambient soundtrack and subtle sound effects, Datura's aesthetics, along with the story it tries to tell, is by far the strongest thing it has going for it. With all of the promise demonstrated by the game's art direction, sound design, and premise, Datura begins to fall apart a bit when you actually start to play it. The game can be played with either the DualShock controller or the PlayStation Move, but it's hard to recommend one over the other because one does some things better than the other and vice versa. For instance, moving through the woods actually works best with the PlayStation Move, but when you begin to interact with things, the DualShock controller is a better bet, but neither works quite right. The result is a sort of muddled experience, one that simply isn't as tight as you would have hoped. Gameplay is king, and Datura's just isn't satisfying. There's no way to escape motion controls no matter which controller you use. Move's uses as a motion controller are obvious, but why are we using 6-axis in 2012 to control so much? PlayStation gamers have overwhelmingly come out against it. We don't want to use 6-axis. Stop making us. Still, even with Datura's lacking control scheme, there's still fun to be had simply because the game is so unlike anything you've ever played before. That in itself is truly endearing, especially as you begin to make choices in the game which result in different outcomes. This doesn't only give the game replayability, but it gives players a stake in what's happening. I just wish it all came together better on the gameplay front, because then Datura would truly be something special. At a length of 90 minutes or so, Datura is short, but that's not its major problem. Its imprecise gameplay is. No matter how great the game looks and sounds, and no matter how awesome the idea for the game is, if it doesn't play solidly, it's going to frustrate people. Datura might warrant a look from hardcore PSN gamers looking for something different, because Datura truly is just that. Just don't go in with high expectations of a smooth playing experience, because you won't find one no matter how hard you may try. For more on Datura and all things PlayStation Network, head over to IGN.com.